The following program is rated TV MALV. It contains strong language, violence, and nudity. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Here we go, Barflies. Welcome to the Barfly Tailgate Show. You already know it's done by Barflies for Barflies and all the other Bears fans out there. Sorry. Good morning, fellas. My allergies are kicking my ass a little bit this morning, so if you hear me cough or sneeze, or I'll try to mute when I'm doing it, but that one had to go out over the airwaves. Welcome back. Thank you, Aldo, for filling in last week and doing a little fill-in show, put together some predictions and stuff for us, and that was really cool to check that out. I welcome back. I mean, it feels weird to be off a week and then come back, and now I'm trying to play catch up almost, it feels like. How you guys doing this morning? I'll start with Chris and go around the room, and we can hit intros, and then we'll get into last week, and then we'll get into this week. Chris, how you doing, brother? How's it feel to be back home, man?
It fucking sucks, mate. To be honest with you, I've had a touch of the old holiday blues since I've been back, but no, it's always great to have another chance to talk to you boys. I know we'll get into what happened last weekend, but just meeting everybody in person, KB and AC, well, an absolute fucking joy. So, a bit of a downer to be back, but always great to have a chance to talk Bears football with you boys.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. Jordan, how you doing this morning down there, brother?
Well, gentlemen, I'm happy to be here as always. It's another day of Bears football. I'm excited for it, and obviously, you gentlemen know they're coming to the West Coast, Best Coast Sunday Night Football. No better time, prime time. Last time I saw the Bears at SoFi, it was literally the first game at SoFi since COVID that they opened up to. That was actually Justin Fields' rookie game against the Rams. So this is a nice return. I'm not seeing Justin Fields. That's the bummer, but we are going to see some Tyson Bagent. We're going to talk some Tyson Bagent, and absolutely, I'm excited to take another trip to go see. And I mean, obviously, let's keep it clear. Bears fan above all else, but I've always said my AFC team is the Chargers, so I can't really lose tonight. I'm going to have fun watching the superhuman robot. Because that's the thing, too, is I've seen Justin Herbert throw in practice. It's an experience. I've yet to see him throw live at SoFi, and I expect there to be a couple bombs today, so I'm looking forward to it.
We'll see. KB, how you doing this morning, brother?
Man, how am I doing? I'm doing great, man. You know what I'm saying? We had a lovely weekend last week. I said lovely. That's how it felt. It was a dream, man. Yeah, basically getting to see a bunch of, you know what I'm saying, superstars damn near felt like in the same room, man. A lot of personalities going around, a lot of jokes, man. Even had some country on country drinking going on, brother. But hey, man, we love it, bro. Well, good, man. Can't wait for this game, man, to get in and talking about what happened that past week. So, hey, man.
Yeah. We'll talk a little about last week first. First and foremost, Aldo, thank you for putting together the ballroom meetup. It was incredible. Showed up to Chicago. As soon as I got there, I got me a Chicago-style hot dog because that's what you do. You stop at Portillo's, you get a Chicago-style hot dog. If you feel like it, you grab yourself an Old Style. I brought a case of Old Style home with me, so I got that out in the garage right now. I might have a couple of those tonight. I don't know, but definitely had a blast. Showed up to Aldo's. And Mallory, even like when she tells people, what we did last weekend, she's like, I didn't realize the pool. She was like, the people that Aaron knew from the show. She was like, I didn't realize how big it was, with John Buffon and his brother there, and Danny Shimon was out there, and of course Aldo and Dan and all the usual suspects. But the pool and the outreach that the ballroom has is just incredible. We showed up at Aldo's. He had Lou Malnati's there, which was my first time ever having Lou Malnati's because I'm an Aurelio's guy. So I was trying some new pizza. It was a first timer for me, and I really enjoyed it. It was really good. And the conversation, I had myself a Goose Island 312 beer, which was delicious as well. Just the whole night was amazing. And then to top it all off, we show up Sunday, and as I said in my preview, I did not expect to win. I expected the Raiders to win that game. So when you get a win when you're not expecting, I think it makes it that much better. And myself and KB's wonderful family, his cousins were next to us. Andrew's grandfather was right across the way. It was just an incredible experience to experience that with you and your family. Thank you again, KB. It was
always, brother.
Amazing.
Always.
It was amazing. And it's just almost felt like a whirlwind. I wish I could have stayed because KB was sending pictures afterwards, which was really cool. And I was like, God, I'm so jealous. But your boy had to hit the road and come on back to Kentucky, which I got back in about 10:45 that night. So it was a long day, and it was a whirlwind of a weekend. I wish it would have lasted longer. We're going to work a thing out with Aldo and try and do that at least once a year. And maybe next year, Jordan, you can fly across and hang out with us because it was just an incredible experience. Chris, tell me about your time in America. Tell me all of it, all 2 weeks. I know we tried to talk to you last week or the Vikings game, but it was kind of loud at the tailgate. So just tell me try to hit some highlights of your trip to America. This guy, I know we call it the AC show, but I was telling KB we got to turn it into the C-Dub show because this man's a celebrity on TV. He's got Larry Mayer writing articles about him and everything. Tell me about your trip, Chris.
I just have to say that's probably been one of the best 10 days of my life. It's just from the start to finish. It was just amazing. But like the first morning I was there, I was on Chicago Fox 32 channel, their morning news program, which was really cool because me and Mr. Shorty started drinking when he picked me up. So literally I had 2 hours sleep before that. So I was actually quite drunk when I won that year. And they were really nice. And it was just a bit of a shame they didn't really ask me about the story because, obviously I wanted to mention you guys and the network and Mr. Short and BCP and the GoFundMe and all that. But that was really, really fun. And then on the Saturday, one of Dan's cousins, she sees this guy who's got a really nice distillery, a whiskey distillery. So we were having like a 6-year celebration. So we went there, ended up drinking loads of fucking whiskey. Did the same again for the Bears game. I had no sleep at all. But the first Bears game, it got quite emotional. Basically, as soon as I saw the field, that's when it really hit me that I was actually at the Chicago Bears, and it just looked so manicured and beautiful. And we were sort of walking around, and suddenly I just started tearing up a little bit. Started thinking about, my God, I've actually got here at last. And for some strange reason, I thought a little bit about my dad who just passed away earlier this year. And I would get a little bit tearful, and Dan put his arm around me, and it just started going a little bit. And then I thought, God, I'm English. I can't do this. Those English don't do this in public. And we had amazing seats, amazing crowd around us. The game stunk. The actual game itself was terrible. The atmosphere was amazing. I went with Dan Shorty and two of his cousins who were just absolutely awesome people. So that was a Sunday. Through the week, we were staying in the Woodstock area of Illinois, which is about an hour out of the city. So we were like in the countryside, and we stayed with Dan's auntie and uncle. Had a beautiful house, and they were just amazing people, so welcoming. And I got on really well with his brother, his uncle Jim, who used to be an ice hockey player right into his 40s. So me and him just bonded over a Miller Lite and all that. I had my first legal cannabis smoke in America. So obviously I picked the strongest weed you could get, and it was absolutely amazing. It was the best cannabis I ever smoked in my life. The two Americans, Dan and his cousin, who were with, completely went through the whole book of being stoned. They started off really happy, and then within 10 minutes they were completely paranoid. And then they went through this they just went through the whole sort of ethos of being stoned. I thought, man, these Americans are lightweight, man. You're a lightweight. But that was really funny. And then went to Chicago a few times, have a walk about, an amazing city. It's just I don't know, man. I've got a feeling I might have to move there for a little bit. I really like the Chicago humor. Went to this like really cool sort of like a restaurant diner, you know, like proper what you see like in all the films, like when Harry Met Sally when she does a fake orgasm. It was very much like a place like that, and all the waitresses liked me because of my accent. So that was really cool. And then just the barroom sort of get together, man. It was absolutely awesome. It was so awesome that it was so weird seeing Aldo. And at first I'd actually seen Aldo's like full body because I've only ever seen him like top upwards. So I was just meeting everybody and everybody had legs. And I've never seen anybody's legs because obviously and that was just amazing, man. It was like I said, mate and EC and KB and everybody who turned up on the network are absolutely amazing. And Cliff Victoria turned up with his mate who decided to turn it into an America versus England drinking competition, which is a very dangerous thing to do because you never offer an Englishman a drinking competition. And I kicked his ass. I had 2 beers to his 1, and I was kicking his ass. And I saw him the next day at the game, and he was trying to give it all that. And I kicked your ass, mate. But I really did. He was absolutely he couldn't do anything. At least I was like, you know, try to keep going. I mean, obviously at the game, before the game, I ended up on the Soldiers Field.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. And at one point we were sort of standing because we were like holding like the end of the big sort of bear down flag when they run out. So we had a bit of time, and I had to just go down on my knees and actually kiss the field because I thought this is Chicago, but this is fucking Soldiers Field, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I kissed the turf, and that was really cool, like doing the flag thing and seeing all the players come out, and you know, just because it was just for game time, it was getting really full. So that was really cool. And then obviously I met Larry Mary. He's did an article regarding me and Dan regarding the GoFundMe and the whole sort of thing about the trip. And that came out, I think it was Friday when that came out. So it's a really, really nice article. I'm just really glad that it mentions Dan a lot because he didn't manage to get on the Chicago morning TV slot, which sort of pissed me off a little bit. Because, you know, without Dan, I wouldn't have got there, man. You know what I mean? Without him just thinking, even I had my own money at the end, but just for somebody to say, right, let's see if we can get this guy over. So, you know, I can't say thank you enough to Dan, really. And he managed to put up with me for 10 days without trying to kill me, which is probably a really good, you know, I can't believe somebody's managed to do that. But it was just meeting everybody, man. I mean, I think one of the best parts of the trip is, all right, the game days were amazing, but like just meeting everybody. Well, that was the best bit for me, meeting you guys, meeting people like Foster and, you know, just everybody. And everybody was so welcoming at the tailgating before the show and after. And just met some really good people, man. And I hope we can make this like a yearly thing. So I've actually started saving already for my next trip out. So I've got about £100, because it was just like, it just happened so quick, and I probably next time I'd like to stay a bit more in the city itself, so I get a chance to have a look around. But even though where we stayed, it was absolutely stunning. But overall, it was a trip of a lifetime, man. And it's just something what's going to have to happen at least yearly because it was just awesome being in the stadium. That would be that, being surrounded by Bears fans and and having like the authentic sort of experience, you know what I mean, rather than trying to go down to Wembley where everybody's dressed in different team jerseys and whatever for them London games. But I'd say the best parts of meeting everybody, and that includes you boys, and hopefully next year, Jordan, you can join us and put up with me for a couple hours taking on America in drinking competitions. So that'll be the last. I don't want to go on about it, man, because I don't want to bore people to death with my fantastic story.
It was great, man. Definitely shout out to Mr. Shorty for putting all that together, because he knocked it out of the park. It seemed like you got to see the city. You got on the field, dude. Like, I was in the crowd, and you talk about tearing up when you walked in for the Vikings game. That was my first game at Soldier Field as well. Yeah. And I didn't really, like, when I walked in, I didn't really feel it because there were so many people and we were trying to find our seats. KB, we were walking through like a maze of people to try and find our seats. We get to our seats and we sit down, and I'm like, okay, well, first of all, it was like, it said it was going to be like 50 degrees. So we had packed everything for it possibly being cold. And I had a blanket. My wife had her winter coat. We had a beanie. I didn't wear a hat. I wore a beanie. And I'm stripping off clothing as the game's going on because it was so hot in there. But it was definitely a blast. And I cried probably 4 times before the game even kicked off, between the national anthem and the bear down thing. And then, of course, I think it was between the third quarter and the fourth quarter, they played the salute to the troops. And I might get teared up right now, as a military veteran myself, it really got to me. And KB turned to me and gave me a hug, said, "I love you, bro." And it was just awesome. But like you said, Chris, the meetup at Aldo's was, I was more, I hate to say it like this, but I was more excited about that than I was the game itself, because I was like, it's Tyson Bagent. I don't know what I'm going to see. I didn't expect to win. You know what I'm saying? So just meeting everybody and eating great food, it was incredible. KB, I'll let you talk about your week, and then sorry, Jordan, that we're taking up all this time. We'll bring you back.
No, you're good.
Brother man. Like I said, bro, it was the equivalent of getting the Avengers all together. Everybody has been off all this time doing their own thing. We, got our own movies, own shows, and everybody just kind of doing them. And then it's, hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and meet up at the Avengers Tower, aka Aldo's house. Aldo, you listen to this, brother. Your home is absolutely beautiful. Absolutely. My God, the neighborhood was amazing. The area, everything about Aldo's home was amazing. The cave, the man cave, where all the magic happens, brother, man. Oh yeah, me and Tooch down there talking. We sitting there, he's showing me pictures of the family, man. I turned around and look, everybody that left us, we just down there vibing. I'm like, oh yeah, I could definitely get used to this, man. It was amazing, man. Everybody was so accommodating, everybody was so welcoming. It's one thing to stare at somebody on the computer screen. It's another thing, kind of like what Chris was, alluding to. Hey man, you got legs. You know what I'm saying? My man, Buffon's brother damn near broke everybody's hand, shaking it. We came up with an awesome inside joke while we were there. Well. Lives on in infamy at this point. And just seeing everybody happy with each other it was a great feeling to have. It's a big turn from seeing people. Hey man, you see, the keyboard warriors and all this other shit, man. Just being around good vibes the entire weekend, man. It was amazing. Yeah. Then we had the packing for the snow game. Apparently, we got covers. I bought a hat on the way to the stadium because I'm like, man, it's a little chilly out here, bro. My ears gonna freeze. You know what I'm saying? By the time we get to the game, bro, I'm pretty sure everybody was out their shirts. We didn't took off anything underneath that we had under a jersey. Oh my God. But the moment having the helicopters and everything go over, man, oh my God, an amazing feeling. Then looking down, you seeing you see Chris on the field with Shorty and you know what I'm saying, my guy T Will, everybody, man. It was just amazing, bro. Definitely got to do it again, bro. Definitely got to do it again. Then we got to get Jordan ass out here.
Yeah. Well, tell me about after the game. You got to go to the family suite. Tell me about that, man, because I was so freaking jealous. I was driving home, and you sent me some of those pictures from it, and I was just like, "Oh my god, that looks so awesome!" I know that I have to get home, but fuck, I wish I could have been there.
Oh yeah, man. We the family. We run into Andrew's wife. At least she's amazing. She says, yeah, we're gonna get her together real quick. We're gonna take some pictures, and then we're gonna go to the family room. Family room. When we did this in Cleveland, there was no family room. There was hey, everybody meet outside, and it was the craziest shit on earth. So we walked down. My entire family. We had like fucking 20 people in there. It was ridiculous. So we walked down. Standing in this little area, man. We tried to walk down into they had like a little lobby area that was right next to the locker room. And we were standing in there, I mean, packed. Everybody's family is in there, right? So we kind of walk out the hallway. We walk back up. It's a long hallway that walks down into this lobby. So we walk back up the hallway and we kind of posted up. I see this, you know what I'm saying, about 5'10", 5'11", stocky dude walk past. I'm like, hey, man, you look like you used to be playing for the team. Come to find out, he does play for the fucking team. It's Kahari Blasting Gang. I'm starting to fan out. You know me. Oh my god. Oh, I said, hey, is it wrong to ask for pictures? Like, what are we doing? So Kahari walks past. I look to my right. Don Rob is over there standing with a group of people. I'm like, that's Rob is. Who is he? He was the rookie from last year that we drafted that plays defensive end. That's what everybody's here. Like I'm like literally fanning out and going crazy. Blasting Game walks back past. Hey brother, listen, brother. I see you with your family. I don't want to be that guy. Can I get a picture? Oh, for sure, bro. You get the picture. Get the picture. We walking out, man. I see Braxton Jones. I'm starting to name players. I'm like, hey, that's Braxton Jones. Everybody in my family like, hey, how do you know who these people are without them having jerseys on? I'm very thorough with my fandom, sir. That's why. So I walk over. I grabbed the pic with Braxton Jones. A little bit after that, I turn around. DeMarcus Walker's walking out. Yo, what's good, bro? Hey, can I get a pic, man? Yeah, I get a pic with him. I got to pick with somebody else too. Then we start to walk out. Andrew looks at me. He said, "Hey man, you riding with me or you riding with them?" Of course, I'm riding with you. What do you mean? I came here to see you. I'm come ride with you. So we start to walk down the little back way to go out to their cars, and I walk past Trent Taylor, Cole Kmet. There was another guy that I seen too. I can't think about who it was, but I'm just like walking past. I high five Cole Kmet, bro. I'm so fucking excited, bro. My auntie Andrew's mother was with us. She's like, Ryan, come on, you can't stop for everybody. Yeah, I can. This opportunity is not gonna pass me, okay?
Right.
But man, it was amazing. Just kind of getting a little inside bits that I got from Cuz. Like I said, man, they ain't gave up. Them boys still out there playing, and they playing hard. Like I said, just picking his brain on a couple little things, telling him about the joke I told to McCaskey, because that we ran into McCaskey in the South lot. You know, I had to drop that tidbit of my man, you need to resign Cuz, and he kind of gave us a stern face and hit us with the he's been playing well this year. But man, it was amazing, man. It was a great feeling. We got of course you get the Bears win, so everything is even better. But just the atmosphere from that weekend, man, it was definitely something that needs to happen more often, man. It was amazing.
Yeah, I was like I said, man, I was so just jealous, but happy for you. I would have been just like you, we stopping and trying to talk and get pictures with everybody. And Yeah. Did you guys hang out with Andrew after the game? Did y'all go get dinner or anything like that?
So
Or
we pretty much had a little family get together, man. Nothing too big. We all met outside the hotel he decided to stay in, and we sat and talked and brought up a few things. You know what I'm saying? Said stuff about folks coming out to visit and things like that. But yeah, we kicked it for at least a good hour and a half outside the hotel, just shooting shit. But everybody kind of looked over at him and was like, "Yeah, you look like you're hurting."
yeah. I mean, he just came to a battle,
I was gonna say he stayed in the suburb next to Arlington Heights, so you understand how far that drive was.
Right.
So we kind of all looked at him and was like, "Hey man, you need to go ahead and get home and get in the ice bath or something, brother. You know how big cuz is. He walking like this, he's stiff, like hey man, go home. Go home, man." But he was enjoying it, man. He told me a few other things, man. And I'll let y'all boys know a couple of them things when we get off off record with that. Just a little, I mean, ain't nothing too crazy. It was just some things I was like, "Oh, for real?" And he was like, "Yeah, man, yeah."
Well, you did, because the first thing I asked when I saw you with Braxton Jones was like, "How's his neck?" Because I didn't see a brace or anything. And you dropped the tip, like he said he's good to go. And then a couple of days later, it comes out that they pulled him off IR. So I was like,
man,
I knew that.
I forgot about that part. So yeah, when I realized who it was, I walked up on him. "Hey man, I get the pick or whatever." Of course, like everybody was very accommodating. Nobody was kind of like, "Hey man, I'm stuck up." No, everybody was like, "All right, cool, yeah." And then it's like, "Who are you?" "I'm Andrew Cousin." "Oh, okay. So you big? All right, cool." So Braxton and me, man, we we dapped up in the dude's monster, man. Dude's huge. It made me look like a kid. So we take the picture, and I kind of look over. I'm like, "Hey man, so how you feeling, brother?" I was like, "You feeling better?" And he, "Oh hell yeah, man, I'm ready to go, man. I'm feeling good." Hey, good shit. We need you.
Yeah,
we need you.
Yeah, because Larry Borum, I mean, shout out to him for stepping in when we needed him, but we definitely need to upgrade at that position, especially today. I mean, hopefully Darnell Wright's shoulder's okay. I saw some tape where it looked like he was literally playing one-armed against Max Crosby and holding his damn own. Like that shit was insane to me.
That needs to be brought up today.
Lord have mercy. Yeah, I guess we can get right into last week's game and talk a little bit about the actual game itself. I mean, not just all the activities that we did before, but I mean, they came in with a plan to run the ball, and they did so. And Cole Kmet said something on CHGO that, like, the game plan originally, they were planning on throwing it around a little bit, but when they got out there, it seemed like the Raiders just didn't want to be there. Like he said, once we started gashing them for runs, they all just kind of quit. So we were like, we'll just keep doing this until y'all stop it. And they couldn't stop it. Deontay Foreman had a damn hat trick. He scored 3 times. That was amazing. We thought DJ Moore scored right in front of us, but he stepped out. And Mallory's got that video. I think she put it up where me and KB start singing "Go DJ" after we thought he scored. That was an amazing thing. But I mean, the game plan was show up, hit them in the mouth, and see what they do to react. And it seemed like the Raiders didn't want to be there. Now you were facing Brian Hoyer, I guess, and we took advantage of them having a backup quarterback, and Jalen Johnson got a couple of picks, but like this defense is quietly starting to play really, really well. And I have been a component of wanting an offensive-minded head coach, but if the defense continues to play this way and we continue to win games, I think Eberflus is going to be sticking around, and I don't know how to feel about it. Chris, can you tell me about some things that you saw in the game? Were you on the field the entire game, or did you had to go back up to a seat during the game?
No. Unfortunately, my stardom didn't stretch that far to go back to the seats. But I had really good seats for Foster. We were sort of looking down on the 40-yard line, but we were really high up. That was really funny, actually, because we were so high up. There were like people, because there were like loads of steps to get up. And I was watching people, like literally, one guy nearly collapsed and the paramedics had to give him oxygen. Wow. Oh, for fuck's sake, man. That's a bit extreme. But regarding the game, I thought his running game were absolutely amazing, which we needed to take pressure off Bagent. I think the passing game for Bagent, obviously they wanted him to get the ball out of his hands. I still think, even with Bagent, I still think the offense was very horizontal. We still see it was doing far too many screens. We see it, like even some of the running players, they're not sort of up the gut, or they sort of always sort of wide zone sort of runs. But I think the defense, man, especially friend of the show, Andrew Billings, the defensive line, especially in the middle, I think we're fifth in run defense now in the league. And you think how poor we were at the start of the season, how much them guys have got into the scheme and improved. And I think the defense overall in the last couple of games has played really well. They played really well against the Vikings. It was just the offense what sucked. But it just sort of makes you think, well, is that Getz his real offensive plan? Is that how he really wants to do it? And it feels like he can't do that with Justin Fields. But I mean, I thought Bagent played really well. I mean, I'm not really getting sucked into that sort of, Bagent's better than Fields or Fields
I
is better.
agree. Yeah, he's
for me,
efficient, but it's not like he's doing anything to crown him, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I just support whoever's dressed as the Bears quarterback, they get my full support. So whoever playing best, I ain't bothered. If it's Braxton Jones playing at bloody quarterback, if he plays well, who cares? You know what I mean? But I thought special teams played well. I thought the running backs were phenomenal. I think really, I think he needs to calm down on this hurdling business because he did get injured.
The first one he got caught.
I know, and the thing as well is, when I was down on the field is really hard. I thought I'd have to give to it because, especially on soccer fields, especially top flight ones, they have a little bit of a sprint to the field, but that were really, really hard, compact field. I'm quite surprised, but I think overall, the Raiders were absolutely terrible. I mean, their quarterback, for fuck's sake, mate. I could play better than him, and I'm shit. And
Hoyer hasn't won a game since he played for us. I didn't know that until
I don't think he's won a game since he lost his hair, and that's been years ago. And he was just terrible, and I thought our defensive backs played really well, against Adams. I mean, you could tell he was getting a bit frustrated halfway through the game, but it was a game. It was a game where I thought we might sneak it, but I just think the Raiders were really, really bad as well. Really, really bad.
Yeah, Jordan, what did you see at home, being able to see and hear the commentators talk about certain things that we may have missed live? What did you see from the game last week? And do you think that maybe that's the game plan as long as Bagent's in there?
Yeah, no, good question, AC. I think to me, it looked exactly like what you guys saw on the field. I think the Bears handled business. They kind of gave a bludgeoning to the helpless Raiders, and it's an interesting game. I don't necessarily know how much I agree with Josh McDaniels in the way that he operates that team. And I mean, no surprise, it didn't look very good 10 years ago at Denver. But I mean, just a good example is Brian Hoyer. I don't know if people remember this. Brian Hoyer retired and then was rumored to be kind of coaching Mac Jones in New England before they brought him back as a third string quarterback, never to really play, but just to coach up Mac Jones. And then, of course, you have McDaniels taking him over to Las Vegas. But I don't know why that's your decision to play quarterback when you got Aiden O'Connell there. And I'm not telling you Aiden O'Connell's anything special, but I mean, it's not like the Bears have a killer defense. It's not like, Justin Fields is shredding you up and you're going to have to put up 40 points. And then I just felt bad for the kid too, because they ended up putting him in so late where he looked lost. Like, how am I supposed to get out of this? And I mean, there's just so many little nuggets. It's amazing to me that Max Crosby is one of the most slept on defensive players in the league. Week to week, he's phenomenal. He's a game wrecker. He's a pain in the ass. How your right tackle with one arm is able to block him is beyond me, but I'll take it. It should seem physically impossible, and the fact that Darnell Wright's doing it is, I mean, God, dog. Running backs are good. I mean, this is I don't know if we should be surprised by Deontay Foreman. I'm sitting here looking at him like he's a hard runner. This is, I mean, and I know KB and I have been on this point. Not that UAC or Chris haven't been, but this is why we've been talking about. It sure would be nice to get your heavy hitters, those hard runners, those people that are going to bulldoze and beat down the defense, and then you hit them with a Khalil Herbert or somebody faster. And I think you saw a lot of the benefit of that. And, I mean, we're going to see how much it plays tonight. I don't know if Roshan's back, but we're going to see how much he actually gets play, because I think look, man, it's a merit league. You know how much I love Roshan. I think Roshan's probably the best, most complete back on the roster. But after what Foreman did, I think you got to give that man league carries this week. I mean, it's going to be interesting. So, yeah, and the last part is I mean, we'll talk plenty about Tyson Bagent in this, Chargers game matchup, but I think to Chris's point, I thought the offense looked – I don't think they did anything. There's a lot of talk about it. Are they going to call it differently for Bagent? Are they going to call it more advantageously? I don't think it was really called any different. They called the complete game as far as trying to protect their quarterback and do what's right for their quarterback. I guess if you want to say they didn't do that for Justin Fields, I would agree. But I also think, to be fair, Justin Fields is a supremely talented quarterback, and I would hope that my coaching staff isn't telling my quarterback. There's a fine balance, of course. I'm not asking like, hey, man, go throw the ball 50 times a game, win us the ball game. But I also don't think that I would ever want to see Justin Fields saddled down in a situation where it's like, hey, man, you're going to have 15 throws a game. Don't make any mistakes.
Right.
And that's always been – this is a little bit of a deeper conversation. We don't have to go all the way into it. But that, to me, is the fundamental issue and why I know, AC, you love this offense. It's why I absolutely fucking abhor and hate this offense. And really, it's because this is inherently – there's no surprise to me why Tyson Bagent looks better than Justin Fields. And it's because at the end of the day, this offense is all about the offensive coordinator playing Madden on the sticks and asking the QB to execute and operate the way that the offensive coordinator thinks it should be handled. And so the moment that you try to insert any type of supremely talented, creative quarterback that wants to play his way, that doesn't operate like a robot, you get a disconnect. And sure enough, Tyson Bagent comes into the game. He may not be the most supremely talented kid, but he's got enough in each department. And he understands his role. He's an undrafted free agent, knows he's not going to fight back, argue, just run the play, execute it the way it's supposed to. And what does that do for Luke Getsy? Makes him happier than a pig in shit. So it's, it's this is what it is. But it was a good game. I'm happy to see. My best friend's a Raiders fan, and it was nice to be able to razz him because I was at the Vegas game Justin Fields' rookie year when they won against the Raiders too. And I was like, man, look, the Bears. You'll know how I feel about the Bears. The Bears they're a work in progress. They're not the greatest franchise. But it's a special feeling when you're like, man, at least we're not the dog shit that the Raiders are. Like,
right.
It's something else. So.
I mean, they're fans though. That's another thing that Mallory noticed. Like, she didn't realize that Raiders fans like paint their face and do all the they go above and beyond. Like, there was a dude out there dressed as a Power Ranger. I don't know if he got on TV or anything. But
Power Ranger. We had a rhino. We had was it a wolf? Was that what the third one was? But yeah. They
were wild. I mean, before the game, they was.
Oh, they were definitely wild before the game.
I'm curious though, for just a real quick question, because as somebody who went to Allegiant when the Bears went there, it was no joke. I was razzing my friend, going like, "Hey man, this is a Bears game. Like Bears fans travel heavy. We own Allegiant. This is Bears West." And I expect that tonight too. SoFi is going to be. I swear to God, it's going to be ridiculous. There's going to be no Chargers fans. How was the Raiders fan base in Chicago? Did they travel well? I hear they travel well.
They did. There was more there than I expected to see as we were walking into the stadium. But once we got in, we started seeing like there was one dude that had the full trench coat, top hat.
Oh yeah, that dude,
voodoo guy, and he just kept doing Raiders. Like you would hear that echoing through the freaking thing out in the
tunnel,
corridor. It was crazy.
They had legit energy before the game. You can literally hear the cheers and the cries of the Raiders chant, that bullshit that dude was walking around doing like all over. I'm sitting around like, bro, we had a Bears game in Chicago. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
But oh yeah, they travel well. For the most part, a lot of their fans was cool as shit. I don't know if it's because they were in Chicago and they were like, shit, we know shit goes down here, but we did have a moment where I looked up and I said, hey, we finna be on YouTube. So a female had got to fight with a Bears fan female a few rows down from us.
Oh, I saw that as we were leaving. They was like arguing back and forth.
That's right. You left before it happened.
Well, I saw her turn around and she said something about shut up, bitch, something. I don't know. Watch out, bitch, or something. I don't know. And then the other woman just kept walking up the thing. And I was like, I left as we were leaving is when Jalen Johnson made the pick six. Like I saw that in the tunnel as I was leaving because I had a freaking half-hour walk back to the vehicle, and then we went and got pizza and all kinds. But so they actually they kicked that woman out, or
bro. So I was gonna say just a little bit of a aside here. She gets in the girl's face. You can see she's trying to fight whoever the dude is that was with her. He was a Bears fan. I think it might have been her boyfriend or whatever the case was. But she goes over. She tries to fight the girl, and you can see the dude just holding on to her and trying to drag her back. And I'm sitting in the seat. You know, my big cousin was next to me, and that's when I tapped him. I said, "Hey, we finna be on TV." And he pulls his phone out and starts recording. So the guy gets her pulled back. You know, the stadium security starts to make their way down to her. She kind of chilled out for like a hot second, but then I don't know, somebody said something that ignited her again. But then she goes up another row and tries to go to somebody else. And it was even funnier because she had to go across a black couple. And you can see the black girl kind of hit her with the stiff arm. And I heard her say, "I will fuck you up." She kind of backs off. She's like, "I will fuck you up." And then she just like, they kind of escort her up the stairs. She's still talking shit. And I'm just like, bro, I wonder what was said. Because she looks like she was talking shit the whole game. We had a few of those, but yeah.
That's crazy to me. I mean, look, I've been to a bunch of games. I don't think I've yet to see a fight, but I always just laugh when you see like these all-out brawls because they always hit Twitter. And I'm just like, man, I get it, but I don't know, man. Nothing's that serious to fight over. And look, I was next to a diehard Cowboys fan in Dallas last year when the Dallas Cowboys were just beating the brakes off the Bears. And I mean, I was even still talking shit with Justin Fields running and stuff, but it's never to a point where, I don't know, we're going to fight. I'm just always
right.
I mean, as coming from England, you know, I'm expecting a bit of violence after the game, so it all seemed quite tame to me. But I mean, I had no issues with anybody when I was at the ground. I mean, I was chatting to some Raiders fans and all that. So I didn't see any. I didn't get an asshole all the time. I was in Chicago, which was cool.
Yeah,
hey, man. It's the one thing I've noticed about the couple games that I have been to. Bears fans are very accommodating. I might talk shit about the ones that be on Twitter or whatever the media thing is. In person, some of the Bears fans you run into are some of the nicest people, man. Out in that South lot, man.
He went to the bathroom and came back with a Jello shot.
Bring that up, bro.
Yeah, but what do you have to do in the bathroom, KB?
Hey, man, look, you gotta do what you gotta do, brother. So I'm walking past and I look down and I said, yeah, you know me, I'm sociable. Ooh, Jello shot. So she was like, "Oh yeah, come get one." I'm gonna get two. What do you mean? So I tell AC about it. He was like, "Where?" So he comes back, he's like, "I didn't see him." I got you. So on the way to the stadium, we walked past her again. I said, "What? You still got some?" She said, "Yeah, get them." Come on, AC.
Yeah. That was the first Jello shot I had taken in 15 years.
We sitting there, we talking to people next to us. They playing old school jams, bro. We get to the stadium, and it was just comparing the contrast and like the atmosphere of Cleveland compared to what it was in Chicago. Still fuck Cleveland. Just being around those people, even with the Raiders fans around us, nobody was really looking at Raiders fans and down in Raiders fans. It was we were having full conversations with people, asking people what's going on with certain players that are not playing. Why we asked multiple Raiders fans, and all of them said the same thing. They don't understand why Aiden O'Connell wasn't playing.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. You would think, especially if Josh McDaniels is at this point coaching for his job. Let's be honest. I mean, this is a guy who I think is the betting favorite to be the first head coach fired. Why would you not at least try to see what you have, like in a young talent? Like we got into this conversation with Fields and Bagent before Fields was even hurt. They were talking about, should we see what we have in Bagent? But I mean, it's
well. The thing is, Aiden O'Connell did start a game this year.
Yeah,
he played against the Chargers, and he looked phenomenal in the preseason. And that was why the reasons people were like, hey, let's play some Aiden O'Connell. He did start against the Chargers, didn't look fantastic, but it was competent. Like what people don't realize is, and he did, it was his fault. He threw an interception to Asante Samuel Jr. to lose the game. But they were still in position in the low red zone that had they scored, it's a ball game and they could have won. So, I mean, that to me, AC, is the reason why I'm like, why would you – this is the whole thing too. Like you can put Peterman – you know what Peterman is. You know what Brian Hoyer is. You don't know what these kids are. Put them in. They're either going to sink or swim. They need experience. There's really no negative reason to not be playing these young kids, which is exactly why Peyton should be starting. And I'm glad he is.
And like I said, the Raiders fans that were there, that were around us at least, all had the same idea. Like, why do we have Hoyer playing? The dude was selling stocks last week. He's our starting quarterback. We got a young kid on the roster that we don't know what he is. I do want to toot my own horn a little bit, just a little bit. You remember that one show where I was like, "There's no way in hell that you stash Bagent." We've been looking for a backup quarterback all this time. We've been looking for a young quarterback all this time. Don't need him to come in and save us, just teach him. So short nice to actually have him come in and give us a little hope or something.
I love Aldo. It's all love. We're here because of Aldo. But like Aldo, I got to poke at you a bit. Aldo was the one that was sitting there in preseason talking about you can cut him and then stash him. It's not a problem. And I know he looks okay, but it's the preseason and nobody's gonna really claim Bagent. I'm like, I was telling Aldo and everybody was at the time, like, look, man, even though he's a rookie and everything, but like you don't get competent quarterback play like that in the preseason, and you don't think people are gonna come sniffing around. Like,
right.
I'm telling you, it's not like I'm not telling you Kyle Shanahan would have taken him off the streets, but I'll tell you what, I've legitimately thought, like, what would this kid do with Kyle Shanahan? And that was those weapons. I got to be honest, like,
like Brock Purdy.
People like Brock Purdy, and I like Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy's a good player for the most part. I mean, I'm not telling you he's all-star, but like, I don't mince words here. Tyson Bagent is a better toolsy quarterback. I'm not telling you fully built, but as far as just the tools that make up a quarterback, I would take, and we're not taking in consideration of his mind or how he sees the game or anything, just the arm, the speed, the size, the build, the confidence. I would take a Tyson Bagent over Brock Purdy. So I just cannot imagine what a guy like Kyle Shanahan would do in that offense with Tyson Bagent. So, I mean, to your point, KB, the general idea that you would have been able to stash him is a joke, because it's not that Kyle would have taken him, but I mean, God, I'll tell you what, I'd take Tyson Bagent over Joshua Dobbs, and that's no disrespect to Joshua Dobbs, but I mean, look, who's now I know it's PJ Walker, and PJ Walker's playing okay for the Browns, but the Browns are in a situation where they're like, look, DTR didn't look right, Deshaun Watson's got a weird situation with his injury. You can't tell me that Tyson Bagent wouldn't be a player that's interesting there. So, it's I can wax poetic about the kid because I actually feel pretty strongly about it, and you're going to hear some of that today about the game. But
I mean, the only thing I'd say what I didn't like about the game was that they didn't let Bagent take the victory kneel. I thought that was
bullshit.
Order, man. His first NFL victory from coming from where he's coming from and his story, and you won't let him take the victory kneel.
I mean, he had 53 people in the seats from West Virginia. Yeah. He bought 53 tickets. He played for free Sunday.
People realize this, AC. That kid, and I'm not joking. It's not exaggeration. That kid has never left the state of West Virginia until he came to Chicago.
Yeah.
And I'm sure maybe, it's not like he's my best friend. Maybe he took a road trip to somewhere. But as far as like actual college, home growing, it's always been in West Virginia. Mm-hmm. And that undrafted free agent is 6 games into his rookie year, and he's starting for the Chicago Bears, one of the most historic franchises at Soldier Field. Like, and didn't look. Here's the thing: I'm not telling you he has to look like a superstar.
Oh no,
he didn't look out. And this is something
he didn't look out of place.
But that's the whole point, KB. This is something the kid has talked about. He had said that when he was in Shepherd, one of his biggest things he always felt like is, I think I can do it, but what I want to make sure is that when I'm at the Senior Bowl, when I'm in the NFL, when I'm in training camp, when I'm in preseason, I want to make sure that I don't look out of place. I don't want to get to the Senior Bowl and everybody's going, oh, yeah, I mean, he's cool, but he's been playing against D2s, and so he just doesn't look up to speed. This is a undrafted free agent, and yeah, I know that's just status. He could have been drafted anywhere, but the kid has never left the D2 area or West Virginia, and he's going to start for one of 32. And now he looks like he's not out of place. Like, it's just, man, I'm telling you, I've been hard. I wouldn't say I'm hard on the kid, but I know KB just exited. But the whole situation is, and I haven't changed my tune. KB and I were saying back from the very beginning after that Packers game, and everybody's like, just put the kid in. We had said, I do not think this kid is going to change the outcome. I think that you'd be selling him short. I don't think that he'd do much different than Justin Fields. I stand by a lot of that. But to be fair, he does offer something different than Justin Fields. And all credit to the kid. And we can talk about, like I said, we're going to talk about whether he's got a bigger role than just being, QB2, but it's interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll go ahead and get into today's game then. Sunday Night Football, I'm going to be honest, one of the most exciting things that I'm looking forward to is those Sunday Night Football intros when you hear Tyson Bagent, Shepherd University, because I don't think we've ever seen a D2 quarterback in that position. So for him to be on that stage, on a national stage where even the other players around the league are tuning in to see what's this kid got? And I was kind of thinking they might flex this game out, but they kept it in there. So obviously somebody up high in NBC or something is wanting to see something as well. Go ahead.
It's Bears. I mean, look, man, Bears fans, they watch, they listen, they tune in. You're not flexing out the Bears. Bears are primetime. And that's why, I mean, it's a whole different thing, but like that's the reason why it's a bummer that the Bears are not better because, and of course, a Bears fan would tell you this, but it's no joke. When the Bears are good, the sport of football is better. Yeah. And I mean, look no further than I know that it hasn't happened a lot recently, but when you go back to 2018, that was an incredible season. And it wasn't even just because of the Bears. I'm not telling you it's like one team leads the show, but it was exciting on a week-to-week basis when, it was is that the Khalil Mack year? I think it was. Yeah. I mean, you had the Khalil Mack Packers game to start the season. That was the Thursday night. Then you had the Rams primetime game in Chicago. Like, I just got to be honest. And yeah, the scriptwriters are fun on the Bears side. We'll see. But it is a better sport and it's a better league when certain teams play better and they're competent. And of course, it would be easy to say that for anybody. And I'll give you an example. I love the Titans. I think they're a fun team. Nobody gives a fuck if the Titans are good. I'm just being honest.
I'll be watching the Titans today at 1:00 because Will Levis is making his first NFL start today.
Yeah. Look, and I like how much I like the way that team's built and everything. I like the Titans. But if the Titans were 13-3, it's cool, it's fun, but it's not like a national story. And there's no chance of hell they were flexing out the Bears.
Yeah, I mean, I know KB kept saying during the game, they're just not letting this kid go down the field. It's all like Chris said too, all horizontal and running the ball. I kind of hope that they try to go down the field today because the Chargers defense is dead last against the pass. So we've got to get these guys involved. It seems like he's already got a connection with DJ Moore. I think DJ Moore just has that ability within himself to just show up and make chemistry with a quarterback. He's played with 12 of them in Carolina, and then now he's had 2 of them here, and the guy just produces. So hopefully that continues, and hopefully that's part of the game plan. Absolutely run the ball. Absolutely. Get those pass rushers thinking about, because you got Mack and Bosa. People are saying in the chat that Bosa may be out. I have no idea. I haven't looked at an injury report. But
Bosa's a part-time player. Anybody that watches Joey Bosa, he's not. And I mean that respectfully. I liked Joey Bosa coming out. He is not, and he'll tell you. I mean, he said it in interviews. Injuries have wrecked his career, and it's a real bummer. But he is not. He's getting paid a fuck ton of money, and he's not a productive player. And like I said, it's not like I wish they were playing. I want the best Chargers team to play tonight, but he's not that dude anymore, and it's a bummer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think game planning wise, you have to run the ball so that they're not just pinning their ears back and coming at Tyson Bagent, especially if Wright's not 100% and you got Braxton coming back from injury this week. So you got to You got to have a good game plan, but I'm hoping that they put the ball in the field a little bit. KB, what are you watching for tonight? What do you think the game plan should be or will be?
The game plan shouldn't change from what it was. Mainly, okay. It should be primarily we're getting off the bus and Foreman is running the ball down people's throats. You use him as the battering ram, and then you put the finesse of Darren Evans and having him, you know what I'm saying, get some of these bigger chunk runs because he's the elusive back.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I'm very happy we got Darren Evans back. I was a Darren Evans fan. He's a good guy. That being said, they're gonna have to. It's going to have to be the same game plan. Whether Joey Bosa is in there or not, you still got that kid from USC that's coming off the edge who is relentless. You're gonna have Khalil Mack. I've seen a couple rumors in the chat that Darnell Wright might be out. I don't even know who the hell the backup right tackle is.
I guess it would be Borum.
Well, if Braxton's playing, it'd be Borum, but otherwise it'd be Aviante Collins, I believe is the name. Yeah.
So, I mean, your game plan has to be very similar to the Raiders. Run the ball.
In your defense, though, what I saw in the chat was Camel Toe Inspector was the one that said that Wright is out, and he also said that Braxton is out, and I don't know where he's getting his information from, but you talked to Braxton himself, and he was ready to come back. So, I mean,
but just saying, you have to get off of that same mentality. What I need to see this time, though, I need to see a stretch the field. Mm-hmm. When you have an effective running game like that, the play action is naturally going to be there. They're gonna come in because, like everybody, they're gonna think this kid can't throw the damn ball down the field. So it's gonna have to be there eventually. You're gonna have to do it. We're gonna have to see shots taken. And that's how you lighten the box. Take a couple deep shots. Hey, you know what? They're trying to go deep. We should probably back off a little bit, whether they're called or not. You know what I'm saying? Loosen up the box. I want to see him keep playing the rhythm. I'm one of the folks, I don't need Tyson Bagent to come in and be Superman. I don't care to see it. I want him to play good. I want him to play within whatever this system is. Just stay on schedule the way that you did when you played against the Raiders. You don't have to come in. You don't have to win the game. Just come in and manage the ship. I believe that his style of game, his game style plays perfectly into whatever Getsy is wanting to do, because you see the kid is very, very methodical. Oh, I'm getting the ball out. I'm getting the ball out. I'm getting the ball out. He seems to know where the check downs are, so you know he's in the playbook. He's knowing where his assignments are. So just stay in that, and I'm fine. As far as the defense, man, you have to get pressure on her. That is key. That's number one.
Yeah.
You absolutely have to frazzle him. The boy has weapons all over the field. You got Mike Williams. You got Keenan Allen. You got the wide receiver they drafted. I don't know if he's playing or not. I'm just saying, throwing his name out there because that to me is still a weapon. But we're talking about the big dude out of TCU that reminded me a lot of Johnson. Yeah. So you have to get pressure on him. Austin Eckler, if he is playing, he's still a weapon out of the backfield. Very elusive, very hard to bring down.
I'm confident in our ability to stop them running, but if you remember back to week 1, the Packers, the way they attacked us was with Aaron Jones. Right, yeah. Exactly. I think that's a bigger issue to me anyway.
Yeah, so those are things I'm looking for, man. I said this too on another show a few shows back. It seems to be that the defense is starting to round out to kind of be what Eberflus is wanting to get to be. Yeah, they haven't played any high-powered offenses really. I mean, the Vikings game, you can kind of go for whatever you're going for. But I said sneakily, this defense is playing very well, especially in first halves. You got 3 points, you got 6 points. Did we blank the Raiders in the first half, or did they get a field goal?
They scored early. They got
Yes.
the first field goal, and then we scored right back on them, I believe. And then they went down. They missed the opening field goal. Remember,
they missed the field goal.
Yeah. So we didn't blank them, but the defense was, and it was obvious early at least that they were trying to force it to Devontae Adams. And they just got away from it for some reason. I don't.
Miss Jalen Johnson put the clamps on that ass, and I mean that with all due respect to Devontae Adams is still sweet as hell, but Jalen Johnson was a different player.
So my thing with that is you're starting to see the mechanics of this defense, everything start to play in. Yeah, we hate it. It's annoying. You're getting nickel and dime down the field, and you're pretty much going off of, hey, maybe we get a sack or maybe we get a turnover. They're starting to get better on third down. It is a statistical fact. People can check it all you want. They're getting better on third downs.
So I got the injury report pulled up because I was starting to worry about it.
It's just Smith, right? And then it's Smith.
Well, as of right now, you got Jaquan Brisker out, Nate Davis out, Justin Fields out, Eddie Jackson and Dan Feeney are questionable. Roshan Johnson, Braxton Jones, Khalid Kareem, and Darnell Wright, they have a dash, which means they did not participate, but they're questionable. And Terrell Smith is out. So you're still a little light in the secondary. I think Darnell was a full participant. So Braxton was limited participant. I think Darnell goes. I think he's good to go. I think the biggest thing for him was to be able to rest up, and watch tape. He doesn't necessarily have to hit people all week long in practice to be ready to play. I think his biggest thing is up here. What's Mac? How is Mac going to try and attack me? If Bosa's on that side, how's he going to try and attack me? And what are my counters? Now, if he can't move his left arm, then that's a freaking issue. But he was a full participant in practice yesterday. I don't think they would let him participate with one arm.
I'll
tell you, and we don't have to tell you. I am so excited to see what that kid becomes. And this is not even y'all know me. Like I was not the highest on Darnell Wright, and I'm still.
You were Dwan Jones.
Hey man, like I sit highly on my throne about Dwan Jones.
Yeah,
Dwan Jones is the best fucking rookie tackle in the league. Put some respect on my goddamn name, and I mean that shit.
We could have both. We could have both of them, man.
No, and I'm like, hey man, don't you fucking hold my dog water when we talk about Jordan's evaluations, because I said Dwan Jones was the best fucking tackle in the league, and he is by far, without a doubt. No, like, hey, it's the rookie team. Dwan Jones is the first tackle you're taking, and I put my name on that. But Darnell Wright is a fucking dog, and I am so excited to see, because you're seeing the rookie, and this is the whole thing about Javon Dexter. It's about any of them. Rookies are rookies, and like they're gonna make mistakes. They're learning. They're trying to catch up to the speed. I am so excited. It's just going to take patience to see what Darnell Wright looks like in year 2, year 3, year 5. Because I'm just like, man, I want to see it. I'm intrigued. You've got my attention. I saw you block a dude with one hand, with one arm.
Right.
Like, what is it? Because I mean, I like line play. I like all player positions, but I like line play. And if you're telling me you got like the next Lane Johnson, like that is.
Yeah, that's something special.
I
mean, Matthew Fochese says that he thinks Mac's going to go off tonight. The only game that Mac, and I love Mac, I still got his jersey hanging in my closet, but he has, I believe, 7 sacks on the season, but he had 5 or 6 of those in that one game against Aiden O'Connell.
Yep.
He went nuts in that game. Other than that, he hasn't done like, it's almost like he was with us year 1. He has games where he shows up and takes over, and then he has games where he disappears. And after last week watching him against Max Crosby, and to your point, Jordan, I have 100% faith in Darnell Wright's abilities. And shout out to Ryan Poles for making that draft pick. I know a lot of people still wish we had Jalen Carter on this team instead of him, but I think if you didn't have Darnell Wright, this season is completely different. I mean, with all the movement that we've had along this offensive line, he's been the consistent, I'm the right tackle. Like, we've had Tevin Jenkins switching from side to side, going from guard to tackle. You've had Cody Whitehair going from guard to center back to guard. You've had Lucas Patrick in and out of the lineup, and you always have Darnell Wright on the right side. I mean, that's he's held his own. I don't know how anyone can
he's had some
against
struggles, but like to your point, AC, he's had some struggles against some good pass rushers, and this is a reason why. I mean, I hear George Berlissimo in the chat. I know he was the highest on Darnell Wright, called him to the Bears months before, and I'm happy for all that. It's why he wasn't my top tackle. He's had some struggles, but the clearest day comparison is watching Braxton Jones as a rookie, and Braxton Jones held up okay for a fifth rounder, doing all the context rules. But as a starting left tackle as a rookie, compared to the starting right tackle rookie that you have this year, they've both had issues and flaws, but it's very clear who is like, oh, wow, that's a different level that Darnell Wright is playing at than what Braxton Jones was playing at last year. And so, I mean, to me, I'm sure Ryan Poles is like smiling ear to ear, because I imagine when you make any selection, you're just like, I'm hoping that works out. I hope he doesn't get arrested. I hope he's doing the right things. I hope he plays well. I hope it becomes a multi-year extension. And it's only 6-7 games through, but I would have to imagine that front office, Ryan Poles included, is smiling, ear to ear, with the Glasgow smile, the Joker smile, just over the fact that like Darnell Wright is making it work.
Yeah. Chris, what are you watching for today in this game against the Chargers?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with a lot of what KB said, really. I think the offense scheme is going to be very similar to what they played last week. I hope we can sort of get the running game going like we did last week as well. But I do feel like we do need to sort of be a bit more sort of vertical with the passing, just so we don't get too sort of repetitive in the play calling. I actually think our sort of screens might actually work into Chargers, because I do believe they're sort of quite weak against defending the screen pass. Regarding the defense, I think really if we can take away their running game, it's all going to be on Herbert, who is an absolute amazing quarterback. But for some reason, it's just not clicked. I mean, I can't remember if he's picked up an injury earlier this year. I think he might have hurt his hand.
He has an injury on his non-throwing hand, which is really only affecting him on handoffs. But the last few games, like, they've put the ball in his hands to win games, and he's done the opposite. He's thrown interceptions, which I mean, maybe Jalen Johnson gets him another one today and tries to keep pushing for that contract. I don't know.
So, mate. But I mean, I think the Chargers are going to be a level up from what we played against the Raiders last week.
Absolutely.
The overall team. I think the Raiders were just piss poor throughout the three parts of the squad. But yeah, I'm just sort of I'm not overly fussed about Eddie Jackson playing, really. To be honest, I don't think he's really been that missed this season. And when he did come on,
I think Eddie Jackson's on his way out of town.
I really do. Yeah, I think this will be his last year. But I think the Bears could definitely compete against the Chargers. If we can stop their pass rush like we did last week against the Raiders, that'll give Bagent a lot of time. Make sure he gets the ball out of his hands quick. But yeah, I think this will be a bigger test for the squad compared to last week.
Go ahead, KB. You look like you wanted to hop in there.
I just wanted to chime in on the Eddie Jackson thing, because you remember when we were sitting in the stands and I brought up my boy Hicks. I was just like, man, I was like, he has been playing admirably, at this free safety position. We ain't really missing Eddie.
Yeah,
it's tough to say because he's been such a mainstay with the team, but at a certain point, the old guard does get phased out. And to me, I don't want to say you got to start looking to get rid of him, but I mean, in the best interest of him, you have to take age into factor, contract. Maybe it is time to, maybe it is time to send him somewhere where maybe he can compete, because he's been with this team for while it was in the dumps. We had the high point, but then back in the dumps. To see if you can send this man to a team that he can possibly go compete with, to maybe get, just have playoff appearances at this point. Eddie's a hell of a player. We love him here, but the fact of the matter is, brother, you've been more hurt than you've been on the field.
Right.
Even when you're on the field now, I mean, it is what it is.
Ball production isn't there, and that's a problem. And that's a problem just in general with a lot of this defense over the past few years, is the ball production isn't there. And I mean, you can't have a ball hawking free safety that goes sideline to sideline, but he's not hawking balls. Like, that just doesn't. That Probably
Well,
oxymoron.
it's not only Hicks that has to step up today. With Brisker out, you're going to have two. I don't even know who the other safety is. I know we grabbed the guy from.
Well, I would actually think it's probably is it AJ Thomas is still on the roster? They have him.
Yeah, I was gonna say AJ Thomas, or they did pick up Deron Herman.
Yeah,
Harmon.
Deron Harmon maybe.
So maybe
I don't know.
I would love to
be
see
something to watch.
I mean,
Yeah,
Brisker's a tough case too. I love Brisker. It was my favorite pick from that class, but he's even struggled some, and he's not been what we need to be. So I mean, and like I said, I actually don't think that's the player. I think that's the dysfunctional, archaic ass system that they're in. But
yeah,
exactly.
It's
struggling.
I agree. So I'm just trying to think of what Roshan Johnson coming back today. I am excited to see him come back. Just hope he doesn't get hurt again, because the way he runs, it's inducive to injuries. I mean, he puts his head out there, and I love that. I love seeing that.
Well,
but
I don't know if you gentlemen remember, and I mean, maybe I'll have to find it in an old show, clip it out, but you guys you always remember asking me like, hey, I know you love Roshan as your favorite pick of the class. The only negative I really had to say about Roshan, not that he's a perfect player, but I feel like you guys remember me saying this. I was like, he runs hard and that's appreciated, but he runs himself into big hits. And he doesn't, and he takes a lot of punch. I remember saying that shit.
Yeah.
And I love it. It's who he is. But it was a legitimate concern of mine at Texas when I was watching him in a limit, because it works if you're in a limited workload. But he was just running into dudes. Like, I invite the tackle, and I appreciate that mindset. But it's a different league at a different speed, and you play a car crash position. I do not need you welcoming more car crashes. And unfortunately, all due respect to the kid, I still love him. He's shown no different from that. And I hope this is a learning lesson for him. Because, and I mean, it's not like it's a joke. The guy had a concussion. I hope his head, his brain, everything's okay. But, it's a real situation where I hope you learn something from this, because I appreciate your machismo to sit out there and try to just bang heads with people. But play smart. You're a valuable player to this team. You can make big plays, but you do not need to sit there and invite everybody to take a shot at your head, at your shoulders, at your knees. It's just not worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, just talking about as well, Jordan, his actual natural running style is quite vertical when he runs through the line as well. So he is making himself a big target for the linebackers to hit. And maybe just needs to drop a shoulder or just make a little bit of a move to see it taking the full impact. But no, I completely agree with you there, Jordan.
Yeah, no, it's like I said, I love the draft pick, love the kid. Still think, like I said, I told everybody here I would have started him from week 1, but needs to run a little more careful.
Yeah, I know. I was just looking up some stats because I think Cole Kmet could have a game today if they focus on him. I looked up the Chargers versus tight ends, and when the Vikings played them, they used Hawkinson a lot. They went to him early and often. I think I was just looking at it, almost 100 yards and a touchdown. Of course, Travis Kelce went off on him because that's just what Travis Kelce does. I think if you run the ball, work some play action, give Bagent something down the field. That's my biggest concern, is that there's nothing down the field. And like I said, KB said it in the stands. They're just not letting him go downfield. It was all screens and slants and reverses and everything. Like you said too, Chris, everything was horizontal. Like let's get vertical on this team, and make them beat us. Someone was mentioning Strowman in the chat. I know I'm going off on a bunch of different tangents here. With Terrell Smith out, I mean, you got Kyler Gordon, but Greg Strowman had that great game against Washington, and then we just haven't seen him. I kind of wish I wouldn't mind seeing him at safety. I mean, I don't know what his tackling is or anything like that, but I mean, the guy, he took the ball away. He did well on the blitz, but we haven't seen him since Washington because Kyler came back and Jalen came back. So he's kind of been pushed back down that depth chart. Do you guys think maybe Strowman could be in for a position change? Or
I don't think so, but I'd tell you what, how about we run a little something other than nickel or base, and maybe you deploy some dime, and maybe your dime quarterback and Greg Storman gets on the field. But
That's crazy talk, Jordan.
I know it's like, man, that's fifth dimensional football that we're talking about. Like, holy shit, are you talking personnel changes? We didn't do that back in 2002. Like, fuck, man. Like, it's fine. You said something earlier, AC, about like, if they keep Woody, will he keep his job? I like I said, I've said from the beginning, I think he's a good guy. He's probably a very nice man. And I'm sure George McCaskey has no reason to ever want him. He wants his cash to work out. So I'm sure they'd love to keep Matt Eberflus. But I mean, I'm sorry. You guys can save this, clip it, rub it in my face when they win a Super Bowl with Matt Eberflus. But like, I just ripped the Band-Aid off. It's not going to work. It's not like, and as much as we like Bagent and Roshan, I still think this thing that I still have stands up, which is I haven't seen any players under this staff, and it's only been a year and a half, but I haven't seen any players under this staff truly develop. And I know we can talk about Darnell Wright. Like, let me put my little qualifiers on that. As a rookie, when you come in, you are still relatively fresh. You don't have any bad habits instilled. You don't really know what's right and what's wrong. So as a rookie, I kind of give you a pass. Like, I don't think that the opportunity to screw you up has happened yet. But even call it 3/4 through a season, halfway through a season, even if you want to call it now, what player have you seen under this staff truly improve and develop? I can't. I'm trying to be generous here. Like, I guess you could say Kyler Gordon, but I don't. I feel like my grade on Kyler Gordon is incomplete. I haven't quite seen enough yet to say, oh, he's definitely took the turn for the better. Jaquan Brisker's looked bad. It's not like he's the worst safety, but he has not lived up to what he's been. And who else? I mean, Braxton's okay, but I don't think Braxton is definitively improved, and he's kind of an incomplete since he had injuries in his first game or so.
Maybe Jack Sanborn.
Maybe
he's an undrafted free agent linebacker. He comes in.
Yeah, maybe.
And maybe that was just him. Maybe he was just overlooked in the draft process.
And they're still overlooking him. It's not like he's playing a ton, and when he does play, he makes plays. But that's what I'm saying. I hope he makes millions on the job, but I just don't think it's for him, man. And man, I don't trust Eberflus. I didn't like the hire when they made it. I talked to Danny Sherman about this last Saturday. I didn't like the hire when they made it. Why? The entire league is going with an offensive mind, and we try to zig when the whole league is trying to zag and trying to outsmart them when we go with the defensive coordinator. And these players are playing hard for him. KB, you saw it in the locker room. These guys like Eberflus. They're playing hard for him. But I just don't like his scheme. And I feel like a guy like Harbaugh they would play hard for. Or I mean, just give me. What's your point? If they were going to zag, how about you zag and go get like an actual unique unicorn defensive coordinator? And obviously, I'm saying Brian Flores, but it's not just him. There are other defensive coordinator options that you didn't have to go back and pick through the record books to find 2004 defense and try to revive that. But I mean, it's fine.
Yeah. And with all the things going on with Harbaugh at Michigan now, with the sign stealing and had a cheeseburger with a recruit in the offseason, apparently that's an issue. I think Harbaugh himself is just about done with dealing with the NCAA. He wouldn't have to worry about that in the NFL.
Nobody talks about that though. And look, I think y'all fellas know. I mean, yes, I love Brian Flores, but I love Jim Harbaugh. Would love nothing more than to have Jim here. And I've said it would only last a few years because he's just a nightmare to deal with. But from all accounts, he has been actively, and there's well-written reports on it, he's been trying to leave college for the last few seasons. And every time he goes to the NFL, people go, no, I don't want you, man. Which, whether I agree with that or not is a different story. But I'm just saying, for anybody that's like, oh, he's absolutely coming to the Bears this year, he's been trying to go to any team that would take him.
Yeah.
And obviously the Bears had Nagy, but they were in the market just as he interviewed for the Vikings job. So the Bears had every opportunity to say we would like a bite at the apple. They didn't. So the only
game tonight could be the Harbaugh Bowl.
The only thing I think that changes that is Harbaugh has to be willing to change his tune. And I don't know the guy, but somewhere in his messaging about why he deserves a chance or wants to come back is not clicking with ownership or GMs. So whether that's like financial demands or, leadership demands, power demands, like I got control of the roster, who knows? But something is awry with like the NFL doesn't want him. So if that's going to change and you think he's coming to the Bears, then as much as I'd love for the Bears to capitulate and say, Jim, come on through, we'll do whatever it takes to get you. That's not what the NFL is. They think they're king shit, and they are. So if you are going to come be a coach for us, if one person is going to bend, it's going to be the coach. And so Harbaugh has to be the guy to do that.
Well, Derek Carter has, in my opinion, kind of old school look at offense sells tickets, defense wins games. If you look at AFC Championship, NFC Championship, and in the playoffs, the only defensive coach that was there in the playoffs last year was the guy in Buffalo. Other than that, it was all offensive guys. You got McDaniels, you got obviously Andy Reid, Zach Taylor in Cincinnati. I'm trying to think of who all was playing. You got Shanahan in San Fran, obviously. This offense sells tickets, defense wins games. Absolutely, defense helps you win, but you no longer need an 85 defense to win a Super Bowl. Look at how the Chiefs have done it. They've built through their offense, and their defense is just good enough to help you win games, keep you in the games. Exactly. You don't have to have the top defense in the NFL to be a successful franchise. This is why I look at getting a offensive minded head coach. And if he brings in, like, look what they're doing in Miami. He called up Vic Fangio and was like, hey man, come run my defense.
Or Wade Phillips with Sean McVay. I mean, this is the thing that we don't have to go so into it, KB or AC, but this is exactly what we're talking about. Defense is not sticky. It's a very noisy year to year changing. I mean, you can look no further than the Jets. The Jets had a phenomenal defense last year. Phenomenal. And they were still like, well, that's not enough. The offense can't make it work, so we got to bring in a Hall of Fame quarterback. And a lot of that stems from just the general idea that as much as, and this is why it's dangerous to go down this road, defense is very volatile. As far as your competency, your ranking, how well you play, it's not sticky, meaning it doesn't translate very frequently from system to system. So it's always a very dangerous role to say, hey, we're going to bet it on our defense when you live in a league where it's so up and down. And some of that is due to continuity. I mean, look, I look no further than the Bengals defense. This year, the Bengals defense has significantly fallen off, and that's because they've lost some personnel, and
they replaced their entire secondary, basically.
And you're having to rebuild that language and communication, and it's not working. So it can be done. It's why I like Brian Flores and what he offers. But yes, there's no doubt about it. Going the defensive route is a much harder journey to get to where you want to go.
Well, Derek Carr hopped back in and asked what the defensive rating was for some of those teams. We're running out of time here, fellas. I want to throw this out, and then we'll get into shout-outs and score predictions, bowl prediction, all those things. So Berlissimo says, allegedly Montrezl Sweat and Chase Young are available for the same price. Who are you trading for, and what's your price for that player? I was on record before the season started to go get Chase Young. Chase Young is a difference maker at defensive end. I know he has an injury history, but he has showed up and showed out this year, and he does. I mean, we saw it when we played against the Commanders. Whether he was winning or not, he goes the same speed every time he's on the field. And he played with Justin Fields. So if you keep Justin Fields, obviously he's still got a contract next year. So I feel like Justin, possibly, unless you trade him, he's going to be here too. And as far as the price, I'm looking at it. I would almost say a second-round pick, but I don't know. The injuries make me worry about it. I'd probably go third round, but if that doesn't get it done, I would go second round. Fuck it. I don't care. You traded a second-round pick for Chase Claypool, who had done nothing since his rookie year. So, and whether that was a good trade or a bad trade, obviously it looks bad now, but like at the time, that was the going rate for him, and we met their asking price. KB, tell me which one of these guys you want and what you think it would cost.
Okay. So I kind of feel like maybe this is going to be in more of the unanimous, like, you know what I'm saying, verdicts. This is definitely Chase Young. I see that Montez Sweat has the better sack numbers, and I think he might even have tackles for loss on Young at the moment. But when people are saying we should probably lean toward Chase Young's way, because I don't want that guy to wreck the game. You tend to have, more one-on-ones, and you can win those.
Right.
He has a lot of pressures this year, a lot. So I'm just thinking, for how they kind of like to play this defense, I would love to see Chase Young brought in here. I'm pretty sure it'd probably be going for a second. They're going to hold up that he was the early round pick and blah, blah, blah. It's Chase Young, So I'm pretty sure it's going to be a second round pick. I think the only way you can get a third in there is if you give them another decent premium pick, maybe something kind of like in the Von Miller range, or you know what I'm saying, a little bit richer, maybe like a third rounder and maybe a fourth, something like that. But it all depends on what the Bears want to give up. But I'm definitely leaning toward Chase Young on this. Sweat, 25? Young is 24.
They're both young, man. I mean,
it's not like they're super old, but I gamble more on that upside with Chase Young than I would with Montez Sweat. Even though Montez Sweat is a hell of a player, I don't want to take anything away from him. Me saying that Chase Young is who I want isn't throwing any shade at that man, but I think if I had to pick, I would pick Chase Young.
Jordan, I know you. I know you look like you're about to explode down there, but I want to get Chris's.
Go for it.
I think you're gonna go. I think you're gonna go a bit on this, so I'll get Chris's
absolutely go for
opinion, and then I'll let you. And then I'll let you finish it.
And you know what, Jordan? I'm gonna go through this really, really slow.
You take your time.
You got to wait loads of time, but regarding both them players, I think both of them are a big upgrade compared to what we've got at defensive ends at the moment. Like I mentioned earlier, we seem to be shoring up the middle of our defensive line, especially with our run defense. So if we can keep Andrew and then two rookies can play up, then I think defensive end is either something we need to attack either in the draft or free agency. I'd probably say probably a second or a third for either of them. I mean, they're only even Sweat's only 25, like you just mentioned. So I'd be quite happy that to spend a bit of money on either one of these guys, because that's been a part of the defensive line which we've all been complaining about all season, that we're not getting enough pressure from the edges. Especially this defense where you need to get your front four putting pressure on. So, I'll be quite happy with either of them, fellas, because I think they're both a massive upgrade to what we're playing with at the moment. So I'll hand it over to you, Jordan.
No, I appreciate it. I will try to make it as quick as possible, but there's just a lot of nuance here. As far as Bear Leesmo's question, I, as well as a lot of Bears fans, would like Chase Young. And I actually think I have more, not that I have better reasons, but people choose the name Chase Young because he was a number 2 pick overall and he's got the draft status and all that. But he fits just more of what I like, and I think pressures is a very important statistic. I mean, I'm a big Jared Verse fan, and everybody's falling off the Jared Verse bandwagon because the sack numbers aren't there. But I don't worry about sacks too much. Pressures are what I care about. It's consistent. So Chase Young is that dude. But I have to be honest and say that, to me, again, it's not me. I'm not running the team. But for what I think the Bears would like, I think Montez Sweat, he's 6'6", he's 260, he dents the pocket. Like, it's just their kind of guy. And not that Chase Young is a slouch in the run department. It's just the build matches what Eberflus likes, these big, bulky, tall defensive ends. And he's been more productive. And a lot of that, like, you can say, well, Chase Young. Chase Young wasn't playing for most of the time he was productive. So, like, they're both bona fide players. As far as the price, I've said, I'll pull the receipts. I've been saying since, I'm back in June, maybe back in April. I was saying, like, give the 2025 Carolina second round pick. I've called it kind of like a free asset. I know nothing's free, but it's Poles. I hope he's here, but you may not even be able to make that selection, Ryan Poles. Right. And it was like a freebie thrown on to the DJ Moore number 1 pick. It's all done. So just take that 25 second, if they'd be willing to accept it, give it to them. And I know that there's a lot of fans talking about, like, why would you even give anything for a guy that's going to hit free agency and you have more money than anybody else, so you can just throw as much money at him as he needs for him to say yes. And I'm not saying that couldn't happen, but you're betting on the guy that you want not getting the franchise tag, also betting that nobody else is going to trade for him.
Also
And
betting that money is the factor. I mean, maybe after
maybe
4
he doesn't
years
know
in
why.
Washington, he wants to
Yeah.
go to a contender.
Yeah, it's tough. So to me, I think that that's the price. I would have no qualms about sending a second round pick. To be fair for either of them, a lot of people don't remember Montez Sweat was a bona fide dude as well. He went later in the first round because he had some health issues, I think, with his heart. I know there's a lot of people in the chat talking about like, why would you, given the amount of injuries this year, why would you trust this training staff with a guy with an injury history? I'm not telling you that Chase Young's injuries don't matter. I just talked about Joey Bosa having injuries that have derailed his career. I don't think that Chase Young, it's possible he's never going to be the player he was supposed to be at number 2 overall. And I'm willing to accept that. But a couple things, injuries can happen to anybody on any given play. So I'm not saying that you throw them out the window like it doesn't matter, but an injury can happen tomorrow and wreck anybody's career. So I don't always bet on what happened to a guy's injury going forward. And I'll wrap it up here quick, AC. But the last thing about Chase Young to me is maybe he's not number 2 overall anymore. Maybe he's not got that talent. But I said it before the season, and I'm glad it's showing out. He is definitively back to being healthy and trusting the knee. Last year, he played a nominal amount of snaps and still looked good, but still looked weary. He is that guy now, and I think, to me, the last bit is I'm not sure where you would be able to get, even if he's not number 2 overall in value anymore, maybe he's 15, 20, 25. I'm not sure where you would be able to get a player of his caliber ever in the second round at a premium position like edge.
Right. Yeah, I agree with all that. The trade deadline is Halloween, 3 p.m., I believe. So we'll be watching that not only for these moves, but also someone put in the chat about Brian Burns. If the Panthers trade Brian Burns, remember we've got their first round pick. So if they start getting rid of talent, that helps us as well. So that'll be something that I'm watching for come Tuesday to see if there's any moves at all that happen. But we'll get into trying to wrap this thing up. I'll start with KB and we'll go around this way. And give me your score prediction, a bold prediction, and your MVB, your most valuable bear. KB, I'll start with you, brother. Tell me what's up.
All right, man. Let's go with the unfortunate reality, man. I'm not gonna get on my high horse to say the Bears are gonna win this game. I did that last week because hey, we look good against this team and then look like absolute dog shit the next. I do feel like the Chargers win this game. I'll say maybe 27 to probably 13-ish. I'll throw that around. I want to say that my MVP of the game will more than likely be. I say Jalen Johnson. Let's go on defense. I give my MVP to Jalen. This also tied to my bold prediction. I say he gets another 2 interception a game.
Wow.
But it's still not enough. Offense doesn't seem to look like it did last week because that's exactly how the Bears go. Shout out Wise, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Thanks for y'all jumping on here with us, man. Putting up with us for all these years, getting up at 10 a.m. Then Jordan getting up at 7, man, because you're the guy. Love you boys, man. Already miss y'all, man. I wish we were all in the same city. Can meet up at a bar and go have a drink and watch the game or do whatever the case is, man. I don't care if it's meeting at somebody's house sitting on the back fucking porch. Enjoy my time, man. Love y'all boys, man.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Jordan. Tell me what's up.
Of course, chat. Thank you for being here. You guys make it
Also,
what it is.
Jordan, are you tailgating any today? So if there's any Bears fans in the area, maybe they can.
I'm not tailgating, but I did have somebody reach out on Twitter. But I mean, you have my Twitter there, Jordan T. Silvera. If you want to reach out, let me know. I'll try to find a way to meet up with you. Anybody that wants to be there, see me. I had one person that said they want to meet up, so I'll do that. But yeah, I'll be at the game today at SoFi. I'll try to be there as early as possible. I am in the 300s, I believe. But anyway, decent seats, nothing great. Chat, thank you for being here. Always appreciate it. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. That doesn't just help the algorithm. It keeps Aldo happy and keeps us on the air here. So please do that. Fellas, you guys are great as always. I appreciate it. There's no better people I like talking football with, and I always appreciate you dealing with my curmudgeonness. I'm actually, speaking of curmudgeonness, I'm not going to be that dude today. I'm not going to be like KB. I may have a little more faith. Now, I will say I have no problem being wrong. I could see Justin Herbert lighting the Bears on fire. I could see them wiping the field with the Bears. So I could see it. but maybe it's my homerism or what. I am taking the Bears to win this game, 27-24. The Chargers keep games close, and they also find a way to let stuff happen in games that they lose. I think that I didn't get to go this deep, and I don't think we totally have to, but I don't know what it is, man. I'm not telling you like I wouldn't even necessarily think I need him as a starter going forward. But Tyson Bagent's just that dude. I don't know what to say, man. Like he's got it. I don't know. However you want to quantify it, he's got his head on straight. He just kind of knows what he's doing. And yes, Khalil Mack could wreck his day and fuck his whole career. I get it. But I just think that inherently they are going to do enough to keep this kid head on straight. I know we want him to launch deep balls. I don't think that's going to happen. It's going to be a lot of horizontal. But I do think that he understands what's around him and being a point guard and distributing and not putting the offense behind schedule. And I think that mixed with his moxie, his swagger, his it factor keeps them competitive in a game that all Brandon Staley has is one game of scouting him too. Which means I do think he's going to try to throw up crazy coverages and everything, but I just think Tyson Bagent's not interested in that. I'll just check it down to my check down. So I think Chargers lose that game 24-27 to the Bears. MVP, I got to go DJ Moore. I think DJ Moore finds a way because he's going to get some of those screens and the yak ability and everything else. And then bold prediction, I know I don't feel good about this one, but something tells me Yannick Ngakoue finds a way to get a couple on Rashawn Slater today. And Rashawn Slater's a dog. He's the left tackle for the Chargers, but something tells me, and that's that. Like I said, I don't feel good about it. Justin Herbert, what he does is he mitigates pressure like nobody's business and doesn't take a lot of sacks. But I just think what I'm hoping is that the coverage will be good enough to see a couple of these guys get home, and Yannick Ngakoue stands the best chance of that. So thank you.
All righty, Chris.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you everybody in the chat. You make the show. You're a part of the show. You're one of us. Everybody, to you guys, because this is, like I always say, best time of the week for me is talking Bears football with you three guys. And also, I just want to say a quick thank you to everybody who helped me get into Chicago last week. It was an amazing experience. Like I said, I met some amazing new people, but also the people I knew live up to the reputations. It was brilliant. And regarding the game, I'm a little bit like you, Jordan. I think the Bears might look sneaky a little bit, maybe 21-17. And my sort of MVP is I really like Foreman to have another big game because I think that's going to help Bagent. And I know, I just like that style of running where he just starts wearing people down. So yeah, I think the Bears might do it 21-17. And I think maybe DJ Moore might have a bit of a game as well. See if they go a bit more sort of vertical with the passing, but hopefully a Bears win. But like I say, it's just thanks for making this another great Sunday afternoon talking Bears football with you chaps.
Absolutely. First and foremost, shout out to you guys for coming on with me again today. I know it's bright and early for us, even though we're playing Sunday night. I thought about pushing the show back, but I was like, people know what time the show starts. I don't want them to be like, where's the tailgate show? You know what I mean? So that's why we just went with our normal time, 10 a.m. Shout out to the chat. They've been on fire today, putting a lot of stuff out there for us to try and talk about and give information about, and even had me looking up the injury report this morning because I was a little worried. So definitely shout out to the chat. My score prediction, man, it is so difficult because Eberflus has never won back-to-back games as the Chicago Bears head coach. So it's very difficult for me to just say this is the time he's going to do it. However, Brandon Staley is not a good coach either. So that both of these teams, it's like who's gonna outcoach the other. You know what I mean? And it's very difficult. But I just don't think Eberflus is going to win back-to-back games. I know in SoFi it's going to feel like Soldier Field is going to be full of Bears fans, and Jordan will be there. I'm assuming in a Walter Payton jersey today. I don't know if you got.
I've got the Justin Fields and the Walter Payton, and I'm happy to see Bagent, but I'm just really bummed Justin Fields is not playing. So yeah. I'm debating if I want to pull it. I think it's probably going to be the Payton, my Payton one that I love, but I may decide to go. Hey, we're give it one last hurrah for Justin Fields before Tyson Bagent just runs this shit. But we'll see.
Well, I saw a lot of Fields jerseys in the stands last week, so it's definitely still getting worn out there. I had took Walter Payton and Sanborn with me and decided to go with Walter because you can't go wrong with sweetness. You know what I mean? But my score prediction, I think it's a really close game. But I think that the Chargers win this game 30-26. Weird score, but I think that's the way it plays out. So the Bears do cover the spread. It was 8.5. So if the Bears cover the spread, I'm good with that because I've bet on it. Also, Tooch hit me up earlier and said he doesn't have a voice. So if you're sticking around for the Goon Show, which probably just started, if you're sticking around for the Goon Show, he won't be on there, but they'll help you build your fantasy lineup today, tell you who's in, who's out. I should have watched that last week because I had DK Metcalf in my starting lineup and he didn't play. So I lost that game to Aldo. I lost that game to Aldo. I mean, I had a lot going on last weekend, but so definitely tune into that. Just like Jordan said, like, comment, subscribe, do all of the things, and we'll see you guys back here next week. Stay tuned after the game. You'll have Bear football, and at halftime, you have a halftime show where they talk about everything they did. That's going to be a late one tonight. I hope Buffon's ready for it. I hope he gets him a nap in today or something because that's a late night. But we'll see everybody next week. And until then, we'll just leave everybody with a bear down.
Bear down.